Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. I'm Dina Marie here, Queen of Rapid Transformation, ready to help you transform your limitations into power so that you can move quickly and fiercely into the direction of your dreams. Today, I want to talk about resistance and what to do about it and how to detach from it. I also want to talk about God writing and what that means, and I want to talk about a greater power and potential and all of these amazing things that I have. Hi, Heather. All of these, hi, Christine. All of these, hi, Lori. Amazing things that we have to talk about today. So excited. Lots of inspiration, lots and lots and lots of inspiration that I have been having. Hi Melrose, I love you. Hi Nicole. I've been literally from the time I woke up till just a few minutes ago completely covered in chills, just affirmation after affirmation, epiphany after epiphany. So many amazing things. How do I see the video? I don't know, Jesse. I'm not sure what you're asking. Hi Lana, hi Layla, hi Dana, hi Jennifer. Hi everybody, so excited you're all here. Hi Jessica. And today is good. Happy Tuesday, Gail. Okay, so this is so fun. I love it. I love all of this. I love all of this. So from the time I got up to now, I've just been having chills covering my body. It's like the awareness of what it is that we are actually creating in this group and what we're actually doing is so beautiful. Hi Shiloh. It's so beautiful and amazing and beyond anything that I could ever, hi Janelle, have imagined for myself. Hi Melissa. So I always have this card, and for some reason it's just been calling out to me. So this is for you to expect a miracle. Oh, see the halo. If you don't have one of these ring lights, these Diva ring lights, the small ones to fit on your phone, you need to get one. Oh my gosh, they just make you so amazing. So this one says, have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. Whoa. Yes, it's true. So true. Okay. So we're going to get started in just a minute. Hi, Robin. Hi, Adriana. Okay, let's see. Let's give a few more seconds for people to jump on. So this everything that has been coming up and everything that I've been guided to share with you in this moment is so divinely orchestrated, as it always is. But when you become extremely conscious of that divine orchestration, it's like, so, the video that I posted earlier that I titled, Heart Jesus, Heart Divine Power, and all the other stuff that I put on there, that video, you have to watch that video. It's not that long. It's like 15 minutes. I want you to know that every single thing that I post in the videos is something that has caused me to be like, oh, it's not just random postings. Like, the stuff that I post is stuff that you really want to. Corinne, long time no hear. It's been about 5 seconds. So you want to make sure that you watch that, because everything in there is just reaffirming everything that we're learning, and it's going to make it so much easier for you to immerse yourself in all of this, and also to change your brain patterns so that it supports you rather than works against you. So today I want to talk about resistance, because there's been a lot of resistance talk coming up, and I really wanted to address this issue. First of all, I want you to know for sure 100% that resistance does not mean, oh, I have so much resistance that this is not what I'm supposed to do. That's not what it means. If you have a heart desire to do something, and I'm also going to use relationship as an example. So if you have a lot of resistance in your relationship, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not supposed to be married to that person. Yes, love all your videos. Thank you. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be married to that person. Hi, Sherry. What it means is that you're plugging in. Hi, Kimberly. You're plugging into the resistance. That's what's happening. It's not that you're not supposed to be with that person. It's that you are plugging into it and allowing it to affect you and and kind of sway you off your manifestation. Now, here's the thing about the law of attraction. We receive what we're vibrating. So if you start vibrating a really high level and your partner isn't vibrating that high, either they will come and they'll meet you, or they'll vibrate out of your experience in order for you to receive the one that is truly vibrating high with you, which is where you want to be, so that you can all be propelled forward into this amazing, life experience that we're creating. Hi, Felicia. Now, here's where it gets messy. When we have heart's desires for things, like we're all doing our vision boards, we're all creating our vision boards, we're doing this in the course. If you're not in the course, it's okay, do the vision boards. I post enough videos about other stuff that you can kind of follow along without actually having to be in it. So do your vision board if you haven't done it. Watch the vision board video, do it that way, and then that will set you up to have positive momentum. So it's like, say you're putting all your heart's desires out into the universe, and you want all of these amazing things, and you're doing the inner work, and you're causing yourself to vibrate at a higher level. You're clearing out your inner world, and at first it kind of seems like it's slow and going, and then eventually you pick up momentum and you just kind of are flying in it. So the things that are not supposed to be in our reality are attempting to vibrate out. So using the relationship example, when we cling to that and we do not allow that to gracefully move out, when we plug in and allow it to plug into our triggers and our inner world, it creates chaos, it creates a mess, because the new cannot come in until the old has gone, right? It's like the universe harbors a vacuum. So when something leaves, then the new thing comes in. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to leave your husband or leave your boyfriend or your girlfriend or whoever you're with. What that means is that you are vibrating higher. Now, this is where you go into intentions. If that person is who you really want to be with, you have to write out an intention that you desire and frame it in a way that you're speaking to their higher self, so that you can set that intention for them, because ultimately all of our higher selves desire for our conscious selves and our higher selves to be one, so that we can create what we came here to create. So if you're in a relationship and you're learning this stuff and your partner is not, it's okay. He doesn't or she doesn't have to learn this stuff. You can learn it for them, right? Or you can allow that relationship to leave your life without resistance, without like plugging into that resistance and creating more chaos within that relationship, within your life. That is where it gets messy. And this goes for new careers, this goes for, new cars, this goes for every single thing that you want to create in your reality. When you're clinging to that thing that is attempting to leave, or you're clinging to the drama that it's currently creating, you're not allowing it to even move up in levels of vibration. You're not allowing it to leave your life. You're not allowing the old version of it to leave your life. You're not allowing the new version to come in. You're just stuck in it, right? You're stuck in it, and so you're creating more controversy and more chaos because of that. Now, all of this is beautifully orchestrated and beautifully said in theory, right? But we're living in practicality. So how do you not detach? Or not attach? How do you detach from the situation? You have to just take a step back and say, is this worth it? Is this worth messing up my manifestation? Is this situation, is this current experience worth destroying what I am currently doing? Kareen, I'll answer you in just a minute. So that's one of the questions you have to ask. Is this worth it? So we have two, I always tell you about the parallel that we have. We have the shadow that we're creating, and we have the light side that we're creating. And imagine them as mountains, right? So every thought, feeling, and emotion that you're giving and that you're putting out, every single one is a pebble onto either one of those creations that you're creating. And so when we cling to old relationships or old experiences, and I don't mean, when I say old relationships, I'm not saying that you have to let that person go. Remember that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you want your relationship to vibrate to a higher level and become something different, you have to become something different. You have to vibrate differently. And that means not attaching to the old version of yourself and the old story that would then go into the argument with that person and fight about the same things. Right? You have to just set it away. You have to just let the universe take care of it rather than you trying to do it yourself. Now, I'm not saying that someone in an abusive relationship should stay in an abusive relationship. I am an advocate for leaving and getting out of that nonsense, because you cannot create a beautiful heaven when you're in an abusive relationship. You can create a beautiful heaven with someone else who's not going to treat you like that when you're not treating yourself like that. What I am saying is that if you're in a relationship and you love that relationship and you want that relationship to grow and blossom, write a letter of intention to their higher self and ask that their higher self then transfer onto them all of the positive love, compassion, energy, and to soothe their fears. Because a lot of times what happens, especially with men, when they see their women start to up level and become greater versions of themselves, they're not used to it. They're used to you being who you were before, engaging with them the way that you did before, and now all of a sudden you're becoming this powerful woman who understands her power and she's going to go out there and take over the world. They get afraid. And the reason they get afraid is because they don't want to lose you. So they think that if you are outgrowing them, that you're going to outgrow them and you're going to leave the relationship. So that's why they start kicking up resistance or talking shit or saying those rude things that they say, because they don't want you to leave them. However, if they're not willing to grow and evolve with you, you will at some point have to make that decision. That's what I did. I stayed in my marriage for 12 years. And the reason that I stayed so long is because I was hoping that he would catch on and start doing these things. Now, I didn't know everything that I then that I know now. Had I known about writing letters of intention to his higher self and, wanting to do all those things, I probably would have done that. However, secretly, I don't know that I even ever wanted to be in that relationship. It kind of was just, I was unconscious when I created that relationship. I had absolutely no idea. And I knew that I was not going to be able to blossom the way I wanted to because I had chosen someone who wanted to stay small and keep me small with them. So you have to ask yourself that too. Now, I'm never going to say get a divorce. I'm never going to say leave your relationship. Even with my coaching clients, I will never say that. Not even if someone's being abused, because that's they're choosing that. They're choosing to be in that situation. There's something that they need to learn from that, right? So if you know that that person is not who you want to be with, do the inner work to heal your inner world and then allow the universe to take them out of your experience without connecting and without attaching to that person. Now, if you already have a good relationship and you want to have an even better relationship, you can do all these amazing things for your relationship, because as you up level, if you have a good relationship, Diane says, I need you right now. You have no idea. I kind of subconsciously, maybe something knows that we need each other. So when you are up leveling, he will naturally do it too, because that's the way that it is. That's the way that, evolution happens. So that's one of the things I was going to say about resistance and using relationships as an example. Okay, I'm going to answer some questions and then I'm going to go into some other examples, because that was just an example. There is also the resistance that comes up when you're attempting to do something new, and a lot of people will judge it as though, oh, the universe is telling me that I shouldn't do this. Like, that's not what it is either. The resistance that's kicking up is your own internal resistance and your subconscious fears about who you'll become and who you be and what will happen if you are living this greatest version of yourself. It's irrational fears. It's the way that our brains are designed. It's primitive. It's to keep us safe and keep us exactly where we are, exactly who we are, so that we don't ever go and step into the unknown, because the unknown is scary. But that's because we're living from our primitive brain, and that's not the design. The design is higher self, heart, higher self. Then we are creators and we understand that. So another thing I was saying that I just remembered is that from the example before about careers or businesses, we experience the resistance in that because we are too afraid to jump. We're too afraid to take the jump, and we forget we have wings and that we know how to fly. Okay, so Heather says, in order to not engage like the old me, what's a good thing to say? What is a good thing for you to say? It's just taking a deep breath and asking yourself, do I want to continue to be the old me, or do I want to evolve in the new? Because you have to say, this is not worth it. Every thought is a deposit, remember? Every thought, feeling, and emotion that you're thinking is a deposit into the mountain that you're building. When you're just beginning to build the mountain of your dreams and desires, you want to consciously put as many pebbles as you can there, right? We're always picturing in our minds every second. We're picturing, we're visualizing, we're seeing things happen. We're doing, we have 2 movies playing on in our consciousness at all times. You have to be extremely conscious about the thoughts that you're thinking, and at first it is fucking exhausting. It really is exhausting. However, after that time period, it'll become an unconscious consciousness, and you no longer have to constantly think about what you're thinking about. It's just you reprogrammed and you retrained, and now you're in this flow of momentum, and it's all positive. And then when you get to the negative, your brain will alert you, hey, this is not in alignment with our dreams and desires. This is not in alignment. But that's what I mean about dominant vibration. Like dominant vibration, right? Your dominant vibration, your dominant mountain has to be bigger than the other one, because whatever one is bigger is going to be the one of the creation that you're creating on every single subject. It's different mountains, right? Carrie says, "You girl, your words are a blessing." Thank you. It's a it's a message that you're meant to hear. However you're receiving this is how your higher self wants you to hear this. So you have to ask yourself, is engaging in this old story worth creating a whole new law of attraction experience of that? Because when situations occur, every time we plug into it, it's like 1 + 1 = 2 always. And so remember, like I told you about the study of the DNA, there's no time and space. Also the DNA with the energy of the body actually shaping the photons and protons in the environment ahead of it, as though it's like projecting, and then it has to align with it. This is what we're doing with our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So every single time that you think a thought, every single time that you feel a thought, every single time you take action on that thought is a future projection as well. So this current reality that I'm sitting here doing a video is also a current reality that's projecting into a future reality that I will do more videos and more things like this, right? So every single time you engage, Heather, you have to ask yourself, is it worth creating this again in the future? And a lot of times it's never really. If it's a negative thing, it's never. Even if it's something for you to learn with, it isn't worth it. So remember that. Talking about thoughts, feelings, and emotions creating, you have to remember too that your heart is 5,000 times more powerful. So when you have your positive energy from your heart, and you're like not just putting pebbles in your positive, you're putting boulders in your positive. So remember that your positive outweighs your negative. If you have them together, even on an energetic scale, the positive is stronger than the negative. You just have to consciously do it. So knowing that you're consciously doing it, and the benefit of this also is that as you consciously create this mountain of amazingness, you're also at the same time taking the pebbles away from the negativity. So it's not like you're going to have a giant pile of negativity and then you have to make a more giant pile of positivity. It's not like that. It's like you have a giant pile of negativity and then you have a giant pile of positivity once you start continue to do this with your vision boards and affirmations, because you're speaking your word into form. It's prophesying your future. And once you're doing this, you create this mountain, your happy mountain, way bigger, and it automatically starts demagnetizing your negative mountain. So it's only good things that are going to come from this. And so when the resistance comes in and the resistance kicks up, asking yourself, is this worth it? Is it worth me engaging to recreate this? Do I really want to continue to recreate this? Also asking yourself, what is the lesson? Like, what am I meant to learn that I'm not learning? What keeps showing up for me that I have not learned yet? I want to know what it is. And asking from your heart. Everything is an asking from your heart, because you will be answered. Every time you ask a question, you have to be answered. Just like if you say, oh, what was that city that I was wanting to visit? And then you see it on your news feed, right? Like every single thing it has to be answered. You have to remember your power. Anytime we're in lack, anytime we're in scarcity, anytime we're in contrast, anytime we're fighting, it's because we've forgotten our connection to the abundance. We've forgotten our connection to the divine. We have become left brain, fight or flight, logic in this zone, not even looking at the potential possibilities. So remembering when you get into that state that you are in a state of forgetting, and then make a conscious choice to remember. Like, we clean up everything, all of our attraction. We clean it up, and as we put more positive and we inject more positive, it gets easier and easier and easier to do this. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back down and see if I can find Corrine's question. Okay, so Corrine says, so can a soul contract unbecoming your soul's contract once you have learned your lesson? Okay, this is what I want to tell you about soul contracts. Once you become aware, once you become consciously aware that you may be in a soul contract situation, all you have to do is say, I dissolve this contract, I balance all karma, I ask to be released from this, and now I make a contract and a vow and a love affirmation to myself. Because once you become conscious of it, it no longer is a contract. It no longer has power. So if you feel like you were in a soul contract and you're bound in that, throw that away. That's not true. In my work, in my one-to-one sessions, I'm always dissolving soul contracts with people that have contracts, especially in controversial relationships. And the second that happens, that relationship either up levels to a new level or it moves out of their experience with no resistance. You do not have to. You are not victim. You are not succumb to something that's outside of you that is controlling you. That's not true. We are the creators, right? We are the creators. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? I want to make sure that I Did I get everything? Oh, I also wanted to remind you of the greater power that is here, that is always working for us on our behalf, no matter what. Whether we are creating a negative mountain, it's working for us to create that negative mountain into our physical reality. Whether we're creating a positive mountain, it's working for us to create our positive momentum into our physical reality. It's always working for you. It does exactly what you tell it to do with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So everything was a thought first, from the shoes that you're wearing, to the earrings that you have, to the hairstyle that you put on, or that you do. Every single thing is thought first, right? Thought expressed, emotion, action creates the thing. Even you were a thought before you were a thing. So remembering that, if you remember that and you tune into that greater power, the resistance has no more hold over you, because you know, okay, I created this resistance. I did, for whatever reason I created it, whether I was unconscious or whether I was just wanting to learn from it. I can uncreate it too. And you can uncreate it. You just have to not attach. So here's the thing about attachment. Let's take relationships, for example, because it's the easiest one to relate to. If you attach, if you engage, that means that there is a magnetism that has an outlet in it within you, that you are allowing it, the other person, to plug in, and you're plugging into them, which means that you are in a mode of creating that experience, because there is patterns and wounding within you that is causing you to be attached to that, to continue to play out that. When that happens, you have to ask yourself, hopefully you catch yourself before you fully engage. If you do not, because some patterns are fully ingrained and you've been living them a long time, since the time you were a child, so they're automatic unconscious consciousness. If you cannot catch yourself before you are engaged in the situation, afterwards is when you're going to catch yourself. And for a while, it's only afterwards that you're catching yourself. But eventually, you will have created the momentum that you need to catch yourself before. So when you catch yourself after, you say, I ask, allow, and receive for all of that energetic attraction to be undone throughout all space and time. And you send the light to it, and then you put in what you want, right? We are creators. We live in this world where we can cancel out a negative thought. You can cancel out something that you're thinking before it happens by saying cancel, clear, delete, and then injecting what it is that you want to experience. So it's like, if you're going to, let's say you're going for a job interview or something, just as an example. You're going for a job interview, and in your mind you have been creating this job interview, but then there's part of you that doesn't feel as confident for the job, so you're projecting, I'm not going to get the job, I'm going to go, but I know, like, you don't even realize you're doing it. You can say, cancel, clear, delete. I cancel, clear, delete that, and what I am going to do, what I'm going to project, and what I'm going to say is that I am going to go in there, and I'm going to live from my highest self when I'm in that interview. I'm going to get the job, and I am going to make it a reality. And then you say, it is done. And then what you do is just keep yourself in alignment. And this even goes for happy marriages. This even goes for careers. This even goes for your heart's desires. Every single thing. Cancel, clear, delete. Push it out. Bring in what is it that I want to experience. That. It is done. Cancel, clear, delete. What do I want to experience? It is done. That's it. That's all you have to do. And because you are projecting, you're also projecting in the future those protons and photons to do exactly what you're telling it to do. Now, the trick is to remember that until it becomes unconscious consciousness, right? So we're all on a journey here. We're all learning, we're all awakening, we're all on a journey of discovering our power, of connecting. The reason that I'm so adamant about teaching to connect to the divine light of love, to connect to the God of your heart, to use the angels, to work with the goddesses, is because that infinite potential, that powerful energy carries you through this conscious stuff that you've been trying to do on your own this whole time. Cannot do it on your own. You got to connect to something higher, whether that's the God of your heart, whether it's Jesus Christ, whether it's Mother Mary. All of the energies are there to support us and help us. So this is what we have to do. Remember, you are vibration. You're sending out vibration. You're experiencing vibration. Everything is vibration. Resistance is also vibration. Allowing resistance to take you out, no more. You got to make a vow to not do that anymore to your own self. I also want to talk about visualizing. We're always visualizing, like I said earlier, little snapshots in your brain of things that are going to happen, and with each visualization, you're creating a potential reality. You're creating it actually happening. So remember to start being conscious of this so that you can start projecting good things, good things, good things, all good things around. Start practicing it with small things, like imagine if you're going to dinner with your family that night. See yourself leaving the restaurant laughing with each other, projecting, it is done, and then watch it happen. So it's little things to start showing you how powerful you are. It starts with becoming awake to the numbers. You know, like the number sequencing. Yes, the divine is sending you those numbers, but who's calling forth those numbers? Who's calling forth that assistance? You. You're calling it forth. Out of a desire that you had to be more connected, to be guided, to be shown, to be told, you're calling forth those number sequences from your higher self to reinforce. The universe is helping you to do that. You could do the same thing with your life experience, no matter what it is. The little projections that you have in your mind create your reality. It's that we have become unconscious of that and more conscious of the negative things, so then we recreate. Stop that. You gotta get away from that. Another thing for you to remember, detaching from that situation. So let's say the question that Heather asked, like, what should she do? So what you should do is saying, okay, I'm detaching from this and I'm attaching to my desire. I'm detaching from this chaos and I'm attaching to my desire. And the second you say, okay, I need angelic assistance or whatever it is that you believe, something come and assist me, show them the truth. Like when my children are fighting, because sometimes they go at it and it's like no matter what I do, no matter what I do, they won't listen to me. I will say, you know, they're like, because they're really in it, and brother and sister, I mean, she's 6 years older than him, plus he like, you know, he wants to be with her, and at times she doesn't want to be with him, and she wants to be with him, at times he doesn't want to be with her. So I'd say like probably 10 to 15% of the time of their relationship is fighting. And I have, since this, because I do not like fighting. I love like peace and getting along and all of that stuff. I mean, I am okay with fighting to come to a solution, to like have growth, and sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens because this isn't, before I finish my story, this is another thing to remember. When you have a desire for something, sometimes you have to go through the valley to experience that desire. And sometimes the valley takes, you know, fighting the wolves, and, you know, fighting the wolves in symbolism to having the negative things come up in your reality for you to learn and grow and be shaped and molded, because your challenges grow you. So we're not trying to stop the negativity. We're not trying to get away from it. What we're trying to do is learn the lesson before we have to engage in it. And that takes extreme consciousness, paying attention to what you're thinking, also remembering that you are a creator. Also remembering that you have to detach from all of this and say this or better. You cannot be clung to anything, because this or better can't come if you are still clung to what is. So remembering that. So they're fighting, and I say, Archangel Raphael, please come in and, like, you know, do what you got to do for this. Do what you got to do. Heal the situation. Bring it to love. And then I say, I see myself with them hugging and becoming even closer. And it happens every single time. Happens every single time. So that's what I want you to do, to remember. Call on the universal forces to help you learn the lesson quickly, so you no longer have to engage so much of the shadow aspect of it. Now, also knowing that when that stuff is kicked up, when shit comes up and you are experiencing it, it's a piece of the puzzle that you need. It's something that you need, and it's your job to dig in there, find the treasure by saying, what does this mean? What does this mean? What lie am I telling myself about myself and who I am? And am I willing to continue this lie, yes or no? And if it's no, then you tune into, who do I want to be? Who am I really? Living from my heart. You know, all of these things, it takes practice. And the way that it takes practice is listening to these kinds of things and then immersing yourself in other, it has to come from everywhere. It can't only come from one source. This is why I'm all about helping other people that are in my community to also reach out, so that we can all do this together, because there needs to be many, many messengers. Not everybody's going to listen to me. Not everybody is resonating with me. Some people don't like the fact that I have, you know, these meaningful tattoos all over myself. I mean, I am literally a walking fortune. Like, I am like, everything on me is good luck. Every single thing I have on me is good luck. Some people have opposition to tattoos and they're not going to hear what I'm saying. Some people don't like big boobs. They're not going to hear what I'm saying. Some people don't like girls with long hair and they're not going to hear what I'm saying. However, I'm still going to talk. I'm still going to say what I'm saying, because there is probably 80% of the population that wants to hear what I have to say. So that's also true for you too. For all of you light workers, everybody out here, there are people that want to hear. There are people that need to hear what you have to say. You're not learning this by accident, and you're not only learning this stuff for yourself. You're learning it for everybody, collectively. Okay, I know there was another question, so I'm going to scan down to that before I finish up. Okay, Robin said, what about if you're having a horrible relationship with your child? They're struggling mentally, and all you can do to help but not working. How? Okay, so this is where you have to detach from the physical drama, right? Because you have to remember that all of your children, everybody, has their own soul purpose and their own challenges that they need to learn for, that are for that life purpose. We cannot take contrast away from our children. That would be robbing them of soul's evolution. They chose. And also remembering that they are souls in children's bodies. They are souls who are wise, excuse me, and blessed beyond anything, right? We have to remember that and give them back their power. Teaching them that the contrast that they're experiencing has something to do with what they came here to do. Instilling them with the knowing that they do have a soul purpose. They are supported even in the contrast, especially in the contrast. They are supported, and it is on purpose. And then you send them love, and you send them love, and you call upon the angelic realm, and you write letters to their higher self, and you communicate with them energetically. We can't always go at it at a physical level because they still have their learned belief systems and conditioning as well. And when you're in a challenge, you go into fight or flight, which they're not going to hear anything you say anyway. This is also how I teach women to heal marriages and relationships. You have to go at it energetically. One of the things that helped me was to write everyday gratitude about my son. So I would write everything I was grateful for and all the beautiful thing. That reminds me, I should start doing that again because it really is fun. It really does like bring in the momentum of sealing that relationship. And then when you have a relationship with your child like that, they will listen to you and they will follow your example. Okay, let's see if there is any other questions. Tiffany, I need to stop bringing up the bad stuff, let it go. Yes, and also healing the bad stuff. Looking at the bad stuff as though it was a lesson, and to even writing down the bad stuff and saying, okay, what did I, like, even though this was bad, what did I learn from this? Like, what was the learning behind this? And then it helps to soften the energy, and then you look at it in forms of gratitude rather than negativity. Okay, Diane says, I have a constant battle. 2 alphas in a relationship is tough. That's when you're working against each other. When you're working together, 2 alphas in a relationship is fucking phenomenal. I know I can't fix anyone, but I can guide him to become better, which he has. Problem is, he is energy draining. I don't know, it's not going to let me see that. Oh yeah, he's energy draining when it's a bad day, but the good days is high. My heart tells me to help him, but the people closest to me tells me he's changing me. Okay, first of all, you have to stop giving your power away to other people. So just surrender that. Like, other people's opinions are only based off their own perceptions and the life that they've lived. And unless they're living life magically the way that you want to live life in that area, do not take advice from them and do not listen to them. You're in this relationship because it is shaping and molding you and growing you, and you have to make the determination that that's what it is. You're right, you cannot change anybody else. However, you can communicate with their higher self, and you can help to clear the muck by transforming your own resistance and your own inner triggers, because once you heal those triggers, that person no longer can plug in. So if they can't plug in, that means that you can't affect their triggers in that way. They can't affect your triggers in that way. So what ends up happening? Because 1 + 1 always equals 2. When you change the equation, which is always starting with you change the result. So, and also for you to know is that everything externally is an internal reflection. So everywhere that you're looking at him as though he's broken and you have to fix him, you are actually looking at yourself as though you're broken and you have to fix you. And everywhere you say he's energy draining and, when it's a bad day, it's a bad day, it's a good day, it's a good day, you also have to remember that you are a manifester, you are an attraction magnet, and you're creating this cycle. So we communicate with each other subconsciously 95% on the subconscious level. So even if like the way he moves his hand triggers your brain to think, oh, here we go into another pattern, you will take the steps to recreate that. So we have to become very conscious about what it is, our intention, and what we want to experience. So here's my guidance for you. Write an intention for what you want for your relationship to be. Write it from your heart. Write it with passion. Write a letter to his higher self, and then let it go. And then when you start to get in that same pattern, tell yourself, this is old creation. What I just created is the new, and that's what I am going to attach to. I mean, it sounds easy to do. It's just difficult, but you're strong enough. I know you are, and I know you can. We all are, or we wouldn't even be in this space. Okay, Karen said, is it true if someone keeps coming to me with negative thoughts they are having, does that mean that I am still on the vibration and attracting that negative conversation to me? How to stop it? Okay, it does not mean that. However, what it does mean is that you still have an expectation that that's going to happen. So if you're doing the inner work and you're clearing out all of that, see, this is also the thing we have to be careful of. We do not want to become fearful of the negativity, because when we become fearful of the negativity, we're just going to recreate the negativity. What we want to do is to always become the observer of of our lives so that we can take a step out of the role that we've been playing and kind of see it. Now, what you can do is say, what's mine is mine, what's theirs is theirs. And what they're displaying right now is negativity, and maybe I can help them in some way. Maybe that's why they're being sent to me. It doesn't necessarily mean because you're negative or that you have negative thoughts. I mean, if I believed that, then I would be in a state of depression, because almost most of the people that I work with come to me because they have negativity in their life that they want to be cleaned up. So if I thought, oh, I'm attracting them because I'm negative too, it wouldn't work that way. So that's not always true. Whatever is true to you is what you're going to experience. So give yourself permission to surrender that truth. So do you do that? Do you give yourself permission to surrender the belief that because people are coming to you with negativity, that means you're somewhat negative or have negativity? And if you say yes, then let it go. Do you give yourself permission to know that when you are observing a negative situation, that maybe you can help in some way? And if you say yes, then bring that in. It really is all it takes. We make it so much harder than it needs to be. And that is how you stop it. Diane, she said, dude, I effing love your words. Sheila. Thank you, Sheila. Yeah, the beginning, it's good. The whole thing is good. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions, just so I... yeah, thank you, Amanda, for inviting Shaylin. Hi, Tina! I love you so much. Heather, I need all the universal forces. Well, you got them, sister. You definitely got them. We all do. Okay. What if you know someone with substance abuse? How can I help them? Connecting with their higher self, connecting with the truth, because even people who become addicted to substance abuse, for whatever reason, they need that experience, and you can't rob them of that. You can just hope that they come out of it. They could be fulfilling karma, like a karmic experience that they have to fulfill. And so we want to stop taking responsibility for other people's creation, regardless of whether they're your children or your friends. We all come here with a soul purpose. We all do. And we can either choose the light side of that soul purpose, or we can choose the dark side of that soul purpose. But either way, it's up to us, and some things just have to be lived out. Now, the ones who are becoming conscious, the ones who are understanding their power and are able to undo the negative contracts and vows and all those things that we have, those are the ones that are meant to, right? We're the ones that are meant to change the world. We're the ones that are meant to learn this, use it in our own life, see that it works, and be fucking amazed by it, and then go out and teach. That's what we're meant to do. Connie, Regina, I have an adult son with a very dark side and I'm struggling. Any suggestions? Yes. Call upon the light of love and inject him with that love every day. Call upon Archangel Raphael and help and see the visualization of the channeling of the green energy from the cosmos into his head all the way into the earth, and surrounding him with the white light, because when we have dark sides, it's also because we're meant to learn from that dark side. We're meant to learn. We chose to learn what the darkness had to teach us. Because if we always chose light, we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't be a culmination of every single experience. It wouldn't be fun. We wouldn't even want to come here, because why? I mean, we come here to work out our dark side, and learn from it. And some people have to play those roles too, because remember, we are in concert with each other, especially in soul groups. So he has something to teach you, and I would be willing to bet that it is surrender, and also working with the angelic realm and the light force for him. Because when we come into this earth and we go too far into the dark side, it becomes catastrophic and we forget the light. So if we have others in our lives that are injecting light for us, it'll help us to come back around. So that's my suggestion to you. Lori says, I work with a very unhappy person, and it is a struggle to not let her burst my bubble. Okay, Lori, why are you giving her that power? You got to stop doing that. When you allow her to burst your bubble, or you allow her to get to you, you're giving her the permission to do so. So, again, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. I am not plugging into this because I do not want to recreate it. Just observe her. And this is what helps me also, observing difficult people, especially with my ex-husband. You have to see them as wounded children, because that's what they are. Inside, they are wounded children. They are abused, they are victimized, they are hurt, and they have been that way their whole lives, and so that's why they experience, and that's why they experience what they experience. Also, that's why they are giving what they're giving, and it's your choice on whether you're going to take that and allow it to match your story of whatever your story is telling you within you, or if you're just going to let it go and move along because you're clearing that story. You're welcome, Karen. You're welcome, Heather. Robin says, is it normal to feel extremely tired after writing our future self story or after doing the activities for the course? Yes, it is, because you're expressing a lot of energy that you're not used to expressing. That's why I really want you to go in and look at that bonus quantum healing PDF, because you're going to have to get the dopamine and solar ray, like I talked about in the course, to keep your hormones higher, to keep your hormones vibrating higher. Yeah, Amanda Smith said, Journey of the Souls helped me understand that so much. That is phenomenal. You can find Journey of the Souls on YouTube. Not everybody is going to want to read those kinds of things. Not everybody's really into the science or any of that. However, for those of you who are and who really do want to learn, Journey of the Souls is amazing. Also, Conversations with God. Get the audiobook of that, because that audiobook is so amazing. That's what I was listening to this morning. That's why I was like so into it. Okay. Yes, that is a book, Connie. Journey of the Souls is a book. However, they do have the audio version on YouTube. Okay, so here's the thing with audio versus actually reading. So I like to actually read also, depending on what it is. I love reading. When I first discovered audiobooks and downloaded Audible, if you don't have Audible, you have to get Audible. Actually listening to the audio version is more powerful than reading, because when we're reading through our own perceptive lenses and our own voice, right? When we listen, we are listening through their context. We're listening to the content through their context, and you learn in a different way. So I highly recommend listening to, and plus you can do it faster. Okay. Felicia says, how can I speak to my brother's higher self so he will stop taking advantage of me? I'm ready for that contract to be over. If you're ready for that contract to be over, then surrender that contract. It's really the contract of victimhood. It's not necessarily a contract that you have with your brother. He's just chosen to play that role for you. So surrender the victimhood, because you are not a victim. You are a powerful creator. And the second that you do that, you take your power back, and you know that nobody else has power over you, and there is liberation within that, right? Like stepping out of that victim role, surrendering that victim role. Also, taking advantage of you, there is belief patterns that you have within you that people take advantage of you. Clear that out, especially with the line of work that you're in, because you don't want to have that. So you're going to have to surrender that to the light and allow what you want, you know, like what you want. People give to you, people bless you, people love you. So shift your perception and what you're thinking about people to taking advantage of you. Send that away so that your brother stops amplifying that and magnifying that, and then tune into what people give to you, and then you'll shift your belief around that. Yep, Dr. Newton is Journey of the Souls. Connie, I love listening to you. Thank you. I love speaking to you. Amanda says, can you... Wait, where'd it go? Amanda, where did it come and go? What'd I do? Oh, can you talk about bad habits, i.e. cigarettes, alcohol, and how to disconnect from a bad habit? Okay, so I'm going to share something with you that I had never told anybody, and just because you brought this up, I'm gonna. So when I was with my ex-boyfriend, the relationship started out very beautiful and magical. However, he hid himself from me for an entire year of who he really was. And I began smoking cigars, right? Like, not because he hid himself, but because he did. So, you know, then I did. And I loved them. I loved smoking cigars. And so I would smoke them when I was with him. Well, I became addicted to smoking cigars, especially when we broke up, because it was a very catastrophic breakup. You know, it was like it was really difficult. That was my huge dark night of the soul, that experience. So that was a huge learning lesson for me too, which also helped me to step in my worthiness and my power and stop giving that away. That's another reason why I want you guys to remember not to give away the negative experiences, like not to be upset by them, because they're meant for you to learn from. Like, if I didn't have those experiences that were so catastrophic in my life, I wouldn't be the woman that I am now. That's another reason why I say sometimes we need the dark for that. So this is what I'm going to tell you what I did. So when we broke up, I was smoking, and it would take me like 4 days to smoke one cigar. So it's not like I was just like, but what I did notice is that it was starting to cause wrinkles in my face, and I am like so about reverse aging. So I'm like, this is not worth it, because really what it does is it decays you from the inside out. So knowing that too, is that habit worth the decay from the inside out? Because that shit, when it catches up with you, it happens like that. Like, your wrinkles will not be there one day, and the next day they're there. No. that's not, I'm sorry, but that's not worth it to me. Not only that, but that's an indication that you're aging yourself. If you're aging yourself with those toxins, that means that you are setting yourself up for internal failure. And when you set yourself up for internal failure, you will be laying on your deathbed, and that is not a fun place to be, especially when you have so much work to do as a light worker. So one of the things I did was I literally wrote a letter to God, and I said, if you provide me with the healing of this heartbreak and also help my financial situation, because I did take care of him, so it put me in another financial situation that was negative. That's why I say I know I'm here to teach financial wealth, financial health, because I had such a controversial relationship with it and relationships. So that's why I teach sacred power, sacred wealth, sacred relationships, because that was what I was meant to learn from so that I could create it. I know it was on purpose. So I wrote the letter, and this is the one thing about writing a letter to God, is that you have to do the thing first before you will be delivered, and that is because you're giving an active demonstration of your faith. So this is what happened. I did stop, and it was very difficult for me, but I had made that vow to God. And when you do something like that, like, you're not going to fuck it up, because if you fuck it up, you know that that's really stupid to do. Not that there's some man out there that's like going to cast wrath on you if you don't do what you said you were going to do, but that you set the intention and you betrayed yourself, and then you tell the universe, I betrayed myself, I want more betrayal, right? I want more people who aren't going to listen, I want more of all this negativity. So it's like, it's really, really heavy, and when you're really ready to quit, that's what you're going to do. You're going to write this letter. So you're going to do the thing that you promised to do first. So if you're a light worker, the promise would be, I will give of my life for you to use as an instrument for good, and I will give up smoking if you will bless me with whatever it is that you want your heart's desires to be. And then you just let it go, right? Then you let it go, and then you have to exercise strong resistance to not smoking again. And I failed the first time. I did. I went back to it, and my financial situation did not change until I was just like, okay, like, this is really serious. I let my addiction take over at that point in time. So you have to say to yourself, is it more important for me to have this, or is it more important for me to kick this and live on the other side of that? And so the second time, when I finally had enough, I wrote another letter. I'm sorry, I had failed the first time, and this time I know that I will promise to sustain for 14 days, and then if you choose, you can show me the demonstration. Well, it happened. I stopped, and I was shown the demonstration, and so that also helped me to build my faith in that power, and I didn't ever do it again. So that's something for you to think about too. Jamie said, many lives, many masters, blew my mind. Yes, that book was phenomenal. That is by Dr. Brian Weiss. He wrote a book also called Same Soul, Many Bodies. That one is phenomenal, especially if you're in a dysfunctional relationship. Read that one. Let's see. Hilda says, same here, I'm dealing with same thing at my work. This lady who is giving me a hard time at work that I gave my 2 weeks notice, she comes around me and I get this feeling from her work. She does with her statutes, just give me the creeps. How can I overcome this in a healthy way? You can overcome this by knowing that wherever you go, you take yourself with you. You can leave the job, but you can't leave yourself. So you have to go within and find out what it was she was triggering in you, the lie that you're telling yourself about yourself. What did you learn to create that lie in the first place? What wounding is there that caused you to feel that way? So it's introspective. We have to go deep and do the introspective work within ourselves to be able to clear that out, and then those people, and then replacing it with what you do want, so that you can create more of that. It's like creating more of that positive mountain, so that you can do that. Gail said, I just finished reading A Woman's Worth. It's amazing. Have you heard of it? I highly recommend it. I have not heard of it, but for those of you who feel drawn to it, make sure you pick it up. It's by Marianne Wilson or Williamson. Amazing read. Have you heard of it? Really helped me to understand my worth as a woman. I love Marianne. She's amazing. So I did read A Return to Love, the audiobook, because, like I said before, she's reading it, she's speaking it, so it's in her voice. It's not your words, it's hers. So that's one of the things that I recommend for you all to do. Let me see if there's anything else. Remember, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. Always, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. If you're attaching to the situation, heal your triggers. You are vibration. Surrender the resistance, the visualizing the snapshots. You're always doing that, so make sure that you're doing more of the positive than the negative. Christina said, is there a way you can just follow me around all day giving me your amazing advice? You'll learn it. You're learning it. You'll do it. You'll do it. That's funny. Oh, the God writing. This is another thing I wanted to talk about. I'm so glad I remembered this. I'm glad I took notes. So God writing, this is what we want to do. This is what I started to do when I was like in the place where I had my salon, but I wasn't like 100%. Megan said, I was just thinking the same thing. Christina, that's funny. I do these videos almost every day, so I kind of been following you around. So one of the things that I started doing was not just writing a letter to God, but a dialogue. So at the top of the letter, I wrote, at this point in time, I owned my salon, and it was doing well. It was just not my sole purpose, and I knew that that wasn't my sole purpose, so I really wanted to know what my sole purpose was, because I felt this inner calling and this inner urge to teach the world and to show the world what I'd learned, and I know that it was because I was being called by all the women. Most of you in this group also had a calling to know the answers, and so that's why you're receiving this message right now. So I felt this like inner urge, but I didn't know how to really put that into manifestation. So I wrote a letter. I wrote out, at the top, Dear God, can you please communicate with me? And then, so asking a question, and then free writing whatever answer came to me, right? So it was, of course, yes, my dear, right? And then writing another question, like, what is it that I'm meant to do with my life? And it was, what your sole purpose is. Remember, right? That was the thing. And then, Yvette said, replay them all day. Yeah. And then I would write out, and then I wrote, who am I meant to serve? And then the answer was, it's in your own backyard. And I'm like, the hell does that mean? It's in my own backyard? I don't understand that. So then I wrote, what was the other thing that was the most important that I wrote that I have to remember? Oh, what am I supposed to learn right now? And it was reverence. And at that point in time, I didn't even know what reverence meant. And then I said, okay, well, what am I supposed to learn from the reverence? And it was humility. And I didn't even know what that word meant. And it wasn't until yesterday when I was in the shower and I was like, bowing my head and praying in reverence to the divine. And not in a state of, you have more power over me, not like that, but just like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for our power. Thank you that we have the tools to do what we know that we need to do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this power. Thank you for awakening us to it. All these things, right? And I heard the words reverence and humility. And I was like, holy shit, like that was what I was supposed to learn, and that's what I learned. So I have chills as I'm telling you this. Even when you think that you're writing a question and then you're writing the answer, that it isn't the God force that's answering you. It really is the God force. And you may not understand the answers that are coming through. However, you will. And at some point, it will make that connection, and you will be blown away in knowing that you are always supported. The divine loves you unconditionally, loves you so much you could not even fathom the amount of love that this universe has for you, and wants you to get this, and wants you to understand it, and wants you to learn from it, and wants you to live your life from this space. So do that. If you're in extreme resistance, if you don't know what to do your writing, just write out the questions that I have for God or whatever, dear God, whatever it is, your question, and then free write your answer, and you'll see. And I also do this when I need clarity or intuition on what I'm going to do next. This is actually how I decided that I was going to do Sacred Money as my next course. So stay tuned for that, because that one's going to be phenomenal too. So the ones who are in the course now, we're going to do a piece of that at the end, which is why I'm having Janet come in to do the Theta Reiki healing around sacred sexuality. Hearts. To do around sacred sexuality and the sacred money, because it is 2 in 1. Your sacred sexuality is directly linked to your sacred money, which your relationship is directly linked to your sacred money. It's money and men. It like goes together, right? Because support and all that. So that's another video. However, I just wanted to let you know what to look for. So that's going to come up probably towards the end of March. I think I'm actually going to do it on March 25th is the day I'm going to have the VIP intensive day to just clear out all of the bullshit around money and relationships that we have going on, so we can step into our sacred sexual power and create more wealth and more money for ourselves. do the God writing because it's phenomenal. I mean, that's how I've come so far also. I mean, all the things I'm telling you is how I've come so far. But all the things in your life, you'll begin to make the connections as well. And you'll see that you have always been supported and you are deeply loved. And I deeply love all of you. And I thank you for watching this live. And until we meet again, I hope you have a beautiful and wonderful day. And I send you angels of love and blessings throughout your life and experience, and cutting all hooks, cords, and attachments and dissolving them to the light in every direction, and sending you love and light. Molly said, I need an invite to that. What if I miss it? You won't. I'm going to do a lot of lives for it too. It just was a thought. I love you too, Lori. It just was a thought from my God writing that I am now putting energy into, and it is going to manifest because it is something that we also deeply need. So again, I love you all. If I could give you all hearts, I would give you all hearts. Stephanie, I can't wait to see this from the beginning. Today has been such a self-challenge. Yes. Dive in to the resistance and allow it just to flow out of your experience. Okay, I love you all. Bye.